Welcome to a reading of Social Conundrums. Today I'm going to read Part 2. The garden's song suddenly expanded to include another melody. I listened in fascination as two different but similar songs were intertwined, the one for me and another for the garden's latest visitor. I sensed who this new presence was, but I didn't want to engage him for now, so instead I focused on the music. It was very beautiful. The two really meshed well together, except for a discordant note or two. "I've been looking for you," Gershom whispered. I felt rather than saw his sleek dragon body lay next to mine. "Well, you found me," I said with a heavy sigh. Gershom stayed silent for a moment, and the two of us just lay there. "It was a rough session," he finally admitted. "No one said creating a social code for these inhabitants would be easy." His words pricked my temper. I turned to face him. He lay stretched out on a solid web of glowing filaments, his golden yellow eyes staring into my own. There was sadness and resignation in their depths. It softened the tone of my reply. "You are so against giving these inhabitants any guidance in their social development that I'm not sure we can create a code at all," I said. "They don't need one," Gershom stressed. "They are getting a healthy planet. These inhabitants will have intelligence and will be able to figure out how to live on their own without our interference. They will be stronger for it, Anne," he said. "You are forgetting that the Little Dragon people are expecting us to give the inhabitants some rules. It is the reason the Planet Project's vote was passed." I pushed as I sat upwards, staring down at him. Gershom gave a disgusted snort from his dragon snout as I talked. "I have talked to Ezekiel. Whatever you approve will be honored, even if you say no code is needed. The Little Dragon people trust you, Anne. If you stand by our recommendations, they will be used." He hit upon the one flaw in his argument. I had to agree. "But I don't agree with you, Gershom. I never did," I said, turning away from him. "Then we are at an impasse," he said, his voice neutral. But we had been together long enough for me to sense his displeasure. I turned back towards him, and our dragon eyes locked. I felt his passion for his beliefs, and I could tell by the smoldering look he gave me he could feel mine. My heart began to quicken, and Gershom moved closer. There was something so attractive about being with someone who firmly believed something with his whole heart, even though it was the exact opposite of what you believed. Neither one of us would ever lie to soothe the other's feelings. It would demean the strength we saw in each other. He brushed his scaly head next to my own, and I savored his smell. It was all masculine right now, but I could still catch a hint of the female he was last time we made love. That memory made me tingle all over. We were still in the early stages of our relationship, where we were discovering all the different ways that we can have sexual encounters. One benefit of being an energetic being is that there are no right or wrong ways to experience the passion of lovemaking. The two of us then surrendered to our desires. He was gentle and demanding at the same time, and so was I. We were on the same plane when it came to our physical needs. I allowed myself to savor the unity we felt as lovers until we finished, our hearts still beating hard as we lay next to each other, spent but happy. His dragon wing covered mine. It was easy to forget our responsibilities as I pushed my body as close as I could to his. Unfortunately, my brain once again began to tackle the problem of our impasse. Logically, since neither one of us was willing to bend, there was only one other choice: a mediator. I would have to go to Ezekiel and admit that without mediation by an impartial third party, we couldn't create a social code. That meant that neither side would be truly happy with the outcome, but at least I would get something of what I wanted, and so would Gershom. Resigned, I sat up and faced him. "I have to talk to Ezekiel," I said. Gershom's golden eyes became alert. "Why?" he asked. I told him of my decision. Gershom stood and faced me. "Don't you think that is premature?" I gave him a disgruntled look. "Name one social code item that this committee has been able to pass," I demanded. He had the decency to then avoid my eyes. "All the other committees involved with the Planet Project seem to be making progress, except for us," I said. "That has to change." Gershom negatively shook his dragon head. "Neither you nor I will be happy with the end result," he warned. I didn't disagree. "But at least we will have a result." That ends Social Conundrums Part 2. This story will continue next week with Part 3. If you would like to contribute to these series, please feel free to become a patron on Patreon. Details for joining are on my website, and also please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you won't miss any new videos. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.